I've always wondered how the Switch can be around for so long without Nintendo actually making a 2D Mario platformer for it. Now don't get me wrong, there are quite a few Mario games on the Switch. Mario Kart 8, Super Smash Bros., Mario Odyssey, Mario Tennis Aces, plus the original Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros., and Mario Bros. 3 through the NES Online app. But it's taken almost 2 years to get an actual new, well, arguably new Mario 2D platformer onto the Switch. But here we are. Originally released for the Wii, redone on the Wii U, and now ported over to the Switch. This is my review of Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. The story of New Super Mario Bros. Changes up the formula just a bit. Instead of Bowser kidnapping Peach and taking her somewhere else, he invades the Mushroom Kingdom and kicks everyone but Peach out of the castle, literally flinging them to the other side of the Mushroom Kingdom. Granted, that's about as much story as you get, but it is a little different from your typical Mario story. In terms of gameplay, this is a 2D side-scrolling platforming game, just like a lot of Mario platformers before it. Your main task is to take your character from one side of the stage to the other within the time limit, just with the uniqueness of local multiplayer co-op being a thing, so it could be you or you and 3 friends. Let's take a moment to talk about what this game is. This game actually started on the Wii as New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Then it was basically remade and redone on the Wii U as New Super Mario Bros. Wii U, with completely different level design and power-ups. What we have here is a port of New Super Mario Bros. U with a few new enhancements, along with having the base game bundled with its standalone expansion, New Super Luigi U. But as the entire community knows, the biggest addition to this game is Toadette and the Super Crown, her character-exclusive power-up that transforms her into a miniature version of Peach known as Peachette. Not only is Peachette an adorable miniature Peach, but she also adds a lot of ease to the game. She has a much longer glide than any of the other characters. She can survive a single one-hit kill like falling into a pit, and she has an extremely high extra jump to help you find shortcuts and tackle those harder areas. In terms of game mode content, we've got 2 different campaigns you can go through, the original and the Luigi U DLC campaign, each of which have 82 different levels for you to trek through. Then you've got challenge modes and coin-based multiplayer modes that you can do with your friends. When you're going through campaign mode, which is the bulk of the game, you're gonna see just how much of a love letter this is to pretty much all 2D Mario games before it. The world map is a freedom of choice point-and-click map where there are different paths you can take to go through different worlds that all still end up in the same last area. And the references come in even stronger once you choose a character that fits your playstyle and start going into the courses. In almost every stage of every world, I was picking up on more and more references and elements they've taken from past games. A few examples being 1, Yoshi is a rideable character like he was in Super Mario World, the triple jump that debuted in Super Mario 64, at least as far as I know, that was the first time I saw it, and a certain flying wizard enhancing bosses like he did in Yoshi's Island. The further you go in as a Mario fan, the more references you're going to find. Of course, it also has its own unique quirks. Like all of the characters playing a little differently, and the star coin system where every stage has a few collectible coins that are used in the post-game for unlocking new content. But one other thing they did bring back from previous titles is the castle-based save system. When you clear a stage, the game doesn't auto-save your progress. You actually have to go through a few stages and get to that world's castle where the boss battle takes place. And once you beat that boss, then you get an option to make a permanent save. The game doesn't really explicitly tell you this, so if you only do the first 2 stages and close your game, when you open it back up, you might not have a save file at all. Granted, it doesn't take very long to complete a couple stages and get back to where you were, but it would be nice to be able to save anytime you want, especially since you gain the ability to do that in the post-game. Now let's talk content and length, which I'm always not really sure on. When it comes to Nintendo platformers, they can make a bunch of content for a game of that series, but still not have a lot of content and length for the amount of money you're paying for it. Take this game as an example. The main campaign has 82 stages to go through. The Super Luigi U campaign has another 82 stages for you to go through. And then you've got all of the challenge mode and the coin multiplayer stuff you can go through. Considering it only takes about 2 or 3 minutes to finish each stage, that only gives you about 9 or 10 hours of content total. Now don't get me wrong, it's got a ton of stuff for you to go through for a 2D Mario game, but 9 or 10 hours isn't a whole lot when the game costs $60. Of course, you could argue that 100% completion runs would be much, much higher than that, and they would be, but not everybody wants to be a completionist. If you just want to go through everything once and see everything that there is, you're not going to get much farther than 10 hours. Now let's dive into something much more positive, presentation. The graphics of this game look beautiful. There are no jagged edges, everything is very colorful, everything is very smooth, and even when you've got it undocked, it looks and plays absolutely perfect. And that plays was me referring to performance, because I never saw the frame drops once, and the load times are very short. Now before we close out, let's talk about battery life. I wasn't really sure what to expect out of this, but I didn't have really high expectations. But New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe has a battery range of 2 hours and 47 minutes on high settings, up to 3 hours and 50 minutes on low settings. Not the best I've seen, but definitely not bad. Now in conclusion, this is a great love letter to classic Mario platformers. On the downside, it doesn't really offer that much content for the asking price, and the save system can definitely cause a bit of confusion if you don't know about it beforehand. But the addition of Peach and an overwhelming number of references to the older games makes this a great game, especially for series fans. Reviews to Go rates New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch an 8.5 out of 10. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below or head to the website at reviewstogo.com.